Hello, my name is Bryce. In this video, I'm going to interview my grandpa Jim. He's a World War II veteran, he's 9 years old, and he's going to share a little bit about his life. When and where were you born?
I was born August 9, 1920 in Reedville, Massachusetts.
How much of your childhood do you remember?
I remember playing stickball in the streets of the west end of Boston.
Do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Oh yes, a lot of childhood memories. I have a lot of memories of playing cowboys and Indians. We were down by the Charles River in the west end of Boston, going to the movies a lot in those days, very much so.
How did you spend your free time as a young boy?
Did nothing but play.
Were you involved in any sports?
Yes, I played a little football and boxing. I did a lot of boxing, and till I lost in a tournament, and that changed my mind of becoming a boxer.
What was your favorite activity to pass the time?
Favorite activity was going to the movies. That much of activity, but we did a lot of movies, and back in the 20s. In 1927, I saw the first movie of the talkie movies with Al Jolson. It was called The Jazz Singer. That was very, very nice. In those days, we went to the movies for 10 cents for a movie in those days. And we sat up in the front row of the movies, looking up at the movies, and we watched a lot of cowboys in those days.
How do you think life is different now compared to when you grew up?
Things are much faster in today than they were in those days. Everything was taken very, very slow in those days. When I was a child, we did a lot of playing in the streets, a little bit in the parks, down by the Charles River.
Obviously, the Great Depression was a big issue back then. Did it affect you and your family?
Well, I came from a family of 10 children, and things were pretty tough. But my mother managed to take care of us. It was kind of tough to have something to eat, but we always managed to have a table full of food either on the holidays or even every day. But we managed, and my mother worked very, very hard in those days to bring 10 of us children up.
Were you drafted into the armed services, or did you join on your own?
Yes, I was drafted in 1943.
What wars did you take part in?
World War II, the Battle of Invasion of Normandy.
What was your rank?
I worked myself up from private up to Master Sergeant, and when I got discharged from the regular Army, I went into the reserve and put in 20 years for the military and keep retired as a Chief Warrant Officer, pay grade 3.
What was it like to fight for your country during the war?
To fight, it was pretty rough, you know, when you were up there in the front lines and you got the bombs bursting in around you, it was kind of scary. And no matter how brave you were scared. It was no picnic. But what I saw with my 2 eyes at World War II, I'll never forget it. I could picture today what actually happened many years ago. That's over 60 years ago. And that there, but I won't, I can't remember what I had for supper last night.
Did you sustain any injuries?
I was in a truck accident in France when we were moving up to the front lines, and I hurt my back, and I got a disability from the Army for that.
What memory of serving your country stands out the most in your mind?
Well, we were in combat, I received a call from headquarters and went down to the motor pool because I was the sergeant in the motor pool, in charge of the motor pool, the maintenance of the vehicles. That a vehicle was disabled and it had to be moved to where it was because it was a very dangerous situation. So what I did was I took a mechanic with me and we drove out to the area and diagnosed what was wrong with the vehicle. So I said to the mechanic, I says, let's push this vehicle over to the hill. I says, and I'll take it down the hill. I said, I want you to go a roundabout way with the other truck and I'll meet you at headquarters. So I drove down the hill at a very high rate of speed, and I came upon a big sign saying, this road is under enemy observation, do not use. But I used it to get there because there was only one way of getting there without any problems. So there I was behind that 2.5-ton vehicle, loaded with high explosives, which was very scary at the time, but it didn't come to my mind about being scared because all I had in my mind was to get that vehicle in an operating condition so the men could get their supplies for their mission. And I made it just in front of the CP, which, by the way, CP is the command post to give us our instructions.
How did you feel about being away from your family for so long?
It was very sad, very sad. As big as you are, the tears came rolling out of your eyes. I'll never forget the first Christmas I spent away from home. And I just choked up and just cried.
In your lifetime, which president do you think was the most effective?
I would say in my days as I came up, through all the presidents that I voted for, or same come into office, was JFK Kennedy, John Kennedy. He was about the best. I think he would, if he wasn't assassinated, I don't think we'd be in this predicament today. But I remember when he was in Congress, and he came to Hyde Park, Massachusetts, to talk to us people, and he was campaigning, and I asked him a few questions about what lies ahead in the future. But he predicted in those days that we would have trouble in the Far East. And where we got today, trouble in the Far East, right?
Thank you for sharing your stories and time with us. I hope that you enjoyed telling us as much as we enjoyed listening.